AEW Dynamite resonated once again from Daly's place, and it actually felt like a good show, like a real show for once. Let's get into it. This is All Elite Review. What's happening, ladies and germs? This is the PackerMan, and welcome to today's edition of All Elite Review, where we're going to be reviewing the show from May the 6th, 2020, episode number 29 of AEW Dynamite. This, of course, coming a little bit late because I just haven't been in the mood to do the review, although the show was pretty good, I will say. I've just been really busy with a lot of other stuff. So, a couple of things of note before we get into this review. This show, I mean, it felt a little bit like its old self once again. I mean, the past couple of weeks have just been, it felt like a studio show for the most part, because it was in the confines of the Nightmare Factory. But I definitely felt a little bit confined in that sense. But this past week they were back at Daly's place because with the governor of Florida basically making wrestling a quote-unquote essential business now, that basically gave both WWE and AEW, for that matter, a little bit more leeway to work with, especially AEW, who can now go back to Daly's place as a result. And they had more wrestlers at ringside. They had a couple other people from production at ringside as well. So it had a little bit more of a crowd-like atmosphere in that sense. And of course, they're back at Daly's place where they can do like pyro and shit like that. So it definitely felt like a legit show once again, if that makes any sense. So hopefully this is something that'll continue going forward, at least until things get back to normal and they can go back to holding stadium events once again with live crowds and shit, because that's definitely something that's been missing the past couple months, is a live crowd. But you gotta do what you gotta do. But couple other things though. AEW was actually fined by the Maryland Athletic Commission this past week for the Lights Out match at Full Gear. That pay-per-view happened back in November. So why exactly are they being fined for it now? And of course this is all thanks to that, fucking waste his skin Chris Cruz, who decided to, raise a stink about it, because apparently he has nothing better to do. Stupid fuck. But also, I gotta say, the Maryland Athletic Commission is a fucking joke. You wanna know how much they fined AEW for that match? $10,000. Like, what's the fucking point? The cons literally wipe their asses with $100 bills. I mean, if you're not going to have a meaningful find, then don't fucking have one at all. I mean, that's just fucking ridiculous. But, you know, whatever. It is what it is at this point. But a couple other things. This coming Tuesday, which is tomorrow, as I'm uploading this video on a Monday, I'm actually going to there's actually going to be some schedule announcements coming up here real soon. I might release that either later on tonight or tomorrow. I don't know. But tomorrow night on AEW Dark, I don't know if they're trying to make up for the fact that the last couple of Darks have been kind of short, with not that many matches, but they have a mind-boggling 9 matches for Dark tomorrow night. Like, holy fuck, dude. 9 matches? Like, the previous high they had for Dark was 6 matches, but Jesus Christ, man. That's a lot of freaking matches. Not that I'm complaining. I mean, that's more content for us. But another thing that they announced this past week was the Casino Ladder Match for Double or Nothing. Last year they had the Casino Battle Royal. This year they're having the Casino Ladder Match, where the winner will get it, much like last year with the Battle Royal, the winner of the Casino Ladder Match will get an AEW World Championship shot. Basically, they'll become the automatic #1 contender. They already announced the first 2 participants for the Casino Ladder Match, Darby Allin and Colt Cabana. They haven't said how many participants are going to be in this match, but according to what they said during this episode, they said that there are going to be more details this coming week on Dynamite. So it'll be interesting to see what the particular rules will be for this ladder match. Because I'm assuming that because it's called a casino ladder match, I'm assuming there's going to be some like really wacky rules that go along with this match. But we'll have to wait and see on that one. So with all that out of the way, let's go ahead and get into the review for AEW Dynamite on May the 6th, 2020, back at Daly's Place. And the original broadcast team is finally back. Excalibur, JR, and Tony Schiavone. For the last month or so, it had been Jericho and Schiavone for commentary. And honestly, I mean, as good as those two were, it's honestly great to see the original team back together again. So, but this was quite the lineup of matches for this show. The first one was the #1 ranked Cody against Joey Janela, the bad boy. It's been a while since we had seen Janela. And these two put together a pretty solid opening match. Highlights of the match: there was great mat wrestling between the two. Cody hit a drop suplex. Joey hits a wheel kick and a flying corner elbow and a back suplex for a 2 count. Cody hits a disaster kick. There was at one point where Cody was sent Janela towards the ramp, and I don't know if Janela was trying to do like a handstand or something like that, but he kind of botched it. So Cody just made him pay for it, with a hit to the back. I don't know if he just mistimed that or what, but that was a little bit awkward. Cody hits a nice moonsault off the stage, and it's like, this guy can hit some high-flying moves himself. Cody with some combo strikes. Joey hits a super kick and then a dynamic elbow drop for a 2 count. Cody hits his inverted superplex for a 2 count after stopping Janela on the top rope. Cody hits his power slam for a 2 count. Joey counters the Cody cutter into a German suplex and then hits a roaring lariat. Cody hits the Cody cutter, only gets a 2 count. Both start trading shots, but Cody transitions into the crossroads for the 3 count and the victory. And of course, Cody is challenging for the TNT Championship at Double or Nothing on the 23rd. And of course, his opponent is the Murder Hawk, Lance Archer. But I gave this match 3.5 stars out of 5. Good opening match. Next up, we had our first women's match in 2 weeks. The last two episodes of both Dark and Dynamite did not contain any women's matches whatsoever. So we had gone basically 2 weeks without a women's match. And we have one here, and there's going to be 2 tomorrow night on Dark, so starting to get back in the groove on that one. And it's but this was just a squash match, and it was the women's champion Nyla Rose going up against the 18-year-old debutante Kinsey Page. Yeah, this was just a squash match. Nyla hits a Beo, a lariat, a German suplex, a swanton bomb, which, boy, she landed heavy on Paige there. Actually looked like she landed on her thigh a little bit too, because after that move, Paige was kind of clutching her thigh a little bit. Nyla hits a couple of power bombs and then hits her sit-out power bomb, the Beast Bomb, for the 3 count and the victory. I gave it 1.5 stars out of 5, which is typically what I give for squash matches. And then we get some promos and shit. MJF basically cuts a promo about being the next big thing, and basically says that he's going to be back in action on the next Dynamite. And of course, Tony Schiavone interviewed him and Shawn Spears at ringside and announced that MJF will face Jungle Boy at Double or Nothing. And MJF was drinking, I don't know if it was like water or some shit, but when Schiavone announced that MJF was facing Jungle Boy, MJF just spat the water all over the place, and then Spears kind of looked at the camera like, of course that's instantly going to become a fucking meme now. Spears' shock face, But also before that, Shawn Spears cut a promo blasting Cody about how he handled the end of his brother's match, saying if his brother was in danger, then he would have done his best to protect him. Just typical heel shit. But then we get our third match of the night. Frankie Kazarian, in his first singles match since January of 2019, I think they said, against the champ Jon Moxley. So highlights of this match: you got some good textbook wrestling. Moxley hit a backbreaker and then a pendulum backbreaker for a 2 count. Both start trading forearm shots. Kaz hits his wheel kick. Moxley hits kind of like a back suplex, but kind of backdrops him over the top onto the ramp. And Kazarian may have tweaked his left knee a little bit. I don't know if that was actually, him selling it, or if he was actually injured. Couldn't really tell. Mox hit an X-Plex for a 2 count, and then puts on a cross-face chicken wing, kind of reminiscent of Marty Scurll there. Mox hits a nice running knee strike that sent Kazarian out of the ring. Moxley tries to go for a double axe handle to the outside, but Kazarian cuts him off with a pump kick, which was nice, and then he hits a missile drop kick and a slingshot DDT for a 2 count. Moxley hits a nice release German suplex, Kazarian with a lung blower and an impaler for a 2 count. Both actually trade shotgun drop kicks, where Kazarian hit him with one, and then Moxley got back up and hit his own, which is pretty cool. Kaz then puts this weird little submission on where it's kind of like a heel hook, but then traps both of Moxley's arms and also has him like in a grapevine. I don't know what the fuck you call that, but points to Kazarian for a submission that I had never seen before. That was unique. The only downside to it was Moxley had a free leg and used it to get free. Kazarian hits his own German suplex. Moxley blocks the 3-hit combo and hits a nice lariat. Kaz goes for a victory roll and an Oklahoma roll, only gets a 2 count. Hits a suplex into the corner, but then after some transitions, Moxley transitions into the paradigm shift and gets the 3 count and the victory. So Moxley is 10-0 in singles competition here in 2020. So that tells you anything. This was a pretty damn good match. I gave it 3.75 stars out of 5. And then afterwards, the Dark Order attacks Jon Moxley. The rest of SCU come down, but of course the numbers game was just way too much. Brody Lee takes a chair and hits Christopher Daniels with it. Of course, there's still some bad blood between those two, and in fact, they're going to have a match this coming Wednesday. So, for those of you that were complaining, oh, why is, which we're going to get to what I'm going to talk about here in a minute. because Brody Lee challenged Moxley for the championship, and there were a lot of people complaining, oh, why is he getting the title shot? He hasn't beat anybody. Well, now he's going to be going up against Christopher Daniels, so you can all shut the fuck up now. But Brody Lee gets into the ring and hits Moxley with his discus lariat. Then basically cuts a promo on Moxley, you know, alluding to their past history in WWE when Brody Lee was shit, I've already forgotten what his name is. I've already forgotten what his fucking WWE name was. Shit. Luke Harper. There we go. Took a second. He alluded to him and Moxley's past in WWE when he was Luke Harper and he was Dean Ambrose, and he was part of the Wyatt family and Moxley was a part of the Shield. So kind of alluding to that a little bit. And Lee challenges him for the AEW Championship, and he drops the mic to Moxley, and Moxley's like, dude, all you had to do was ask, you know. And there are some people that are saying, and they really AEW really painted themselves into a corner because you have both these guys who are undefeated and you're trying to build them up. And I don't think you really want to take the belt off of Moxley this soon, you know what I mean? But, I don't know, there'll probably be some kind of fuck finish where there'll be like a double disqualification or double count out or, you know, some kind of fuck finish like that. But we'll have to wait and see how that turns out. And then Brandy Rhodes cuts a promo afterwards, basically calling out Jake the Snake Roberts, you know, calling out how he was basically calling her a Cleopatra and all that other shit. And of course, that would kind of bite her in the ass after this next match, which was QT Marshall against the number 2 ranked Lance Archer, of course, the other side of the TNT Championship match. So this was basically a pseudo squash match. Highlights of the match: Lance with a hard forearm shot, running elbows in the corner, catches QT and choke slams him onto the apron. Lance hits like this twisting splash where it basically looked like he was going to go for like a pseudo Vader bomb, but twists in midair. During the commercial break, they showed Lance hitting an overhead choke slam. Just that fucking overhead choke slam is just crazy. It's basically he takes him in a choke slam, but then tosses him overhead like an overhead belly to belly suplex. It's just crazy. Lance hits a nice big boot. QT tries to get back into things with a springboard lariat. Hits a nice handspring enziguri, which looked really good. And then he actually hit a suplex on Lance Archer, and it's like, man, he actually got the big man over. But then Lance hits a hard hitting running shoulder block, and then hits his blackout finisher, and then I think they call it like the EDD claw or something like that, where he basically the iron claw, where he takes it and just slams his opponent's head into the mat. Kind of like what he did with Dustin Rhodes, and got the 3 count and the victory. It was an alright match. I give it 2.5 stars out of 5. Afterwards, Britt Baker, who was at ringside, jumps over the barricade and DDTs Brandy Rhodes because during the match, Baker actually hit QT Marshall in the head with one of her high heels, and then Brandy Rhodes went over, grabbed the high heel, and tossed it into the stands, which I don't think Britt Baker appreciated, so that's why she attacked Brandy Rhodes and pushed her into the ring. And Jake the Snake Roberts was there this week as well, and he came down with a, I guess you could say, possibly an offspring of his old Python Damien. And he basically draped a python over Brandy. So apparently they're going to have an interview segment on Dynamite this coming Wednesday night. So that'll be interesting to see, and it'll be pretty interesting to see if Cody comes out and tries to whoop some ass. So that'll be interesting. And then we get to our main event, and man, this is back-to-back weeks where we've had like no disqualification tag matches. This one in particular was a street fight, and wow, this I can't quite give it 5 stars. But my God, this was a fucking main event if I ever saw one. It was Les Ex-Gods, Chris Jericho and Sammy Guevara against Kenny Omega and the debuting Matt Hardy, who went through all three phases of his characters, during this match. He started out as broken Matt Hardy, and then midway through the match he turned into like his, Hardy Boys Matt Hardy, and then late in the match he turned into Damascus. So you saw all three phases of Matt Hardy in this match. So highlights of this match, and there were a shit ton. Both teams basically start going at each other. Hardy hits a BT bomb, which is basically a sit-out Razor's Edge for a 2 count on Sammy. Omega with a Singapore roll, but Guevara blocks the moonsault. Y2J and Hardy disappear into the tunnel. Jericho actually threw Hardy into like the entrance tube, and Hardy kind of fell down awkwardly, and it looked like that's where he might have cut his arm, because you could see later on that he actually had a pretty big gash in his left arm, I think, and I think that came from him falling in the tunnel. So Jericho comes back out to double team Omega. They hit a double suplex on Omega, and then Jericho hits a lion salt on Omega, and then Hardy comes back out, and like I said, his Matt Hardy version 2 kind of gimmick, hits lariats. A big back body drop on Sammy Guevara, hits a side effect on both Jericho and Guevara for a 2 count. Man, some people were saying that, man, he can't really move anymore. Didn't look like it in this match, I'll tell you that much. Then he hits the Twist of Fate on Jericho, only gets a 2 count. Guevara hits a Dragon Whip on Hardy. If you don't know what the Dragon Whip is, it's basically where Guevara tried to do like a gut kick to Hardy. Hardy grabs it, spins him around, but Guevara hits like a roundhouse kick. Shelton Benjamin used to do that, although he would jump into the air with the wheel kick, whereas Guevara just does like a standard roundhouse kick. He tries to do the same thing to Omega, but Omega ducks the Dragon Whip, and it's a Snapdragon suplex on Sammy. Irony. Then Jericho uses the baseball bat that he had brought out on Omega. Omega blocks Guevara's shooting star press. Hardy hits a Twist of Fate on Guevara, and Omega hits a V-trigger on him as well. Omega and Hardy pull out a ladder and a table. They set Guevara on the table. Hardy climbs the ladder, does his, Hardy Boys thingamajig, and hits a flying splash off the ladder onto Guevara through the table, which probably would have been the 3 count. But Hager pulls the referee out at 2, and there wasn't anything the referee could do about it because it was no disqualifications. So Hager basically starts getting involved in the match, which kind of irritated me. He hits a Snake Eyes on Omega. Hardy and Hager start going at it hardcore. Both teams start going up into the seats, and this is basically the last we see of the show near the ring. And it was at this point when I noticed that Hardy's left arm was cut open. Jericho sends Hardy into a trash can. They end up near an ice cooler, and Jericho hits Hardy with a bag of ice. Omega hits Hager and Y2J with a trash can. Also, Jericho and Guevara put Hardy into the ice box and basically close the door on him. Guevara sends Omega into an ATM machine, which was pretty obviously put there for this purpose, because Guevara then reaches into the fucking ATM and pulls out some damn money and stuffs it into his pocket. I mean, it's like, what the fuck is this, GTA or some shit? Of course, we got some more evidence of that, later on in this match with one of the sickest bumps I've ever seen, but we'll get to that when we get to it. Omega does like a running power bomb on Guevara into the garage door. Sidesteps Hager, who slams into Guevara. And then Omega hits a V-trigger on Hager and sends him over some guardrails. That didn't look fun. But Jericho sends like a yellow cart into Omega. And then he hits a suplex on Omega onto one of the guardrails. Yeah, that looked like it hurt both of them. Jericho grabs a fucking orange cone and puts it on his head. And I'm just like, what the fuck, dude? And he takes the cone and hits Omega with it. And then Omega grabs a yellow slippery when wet sign, jams it into Jericho's gut. And then he takes the damn thing and shatters the fucking thing over Jericho's back. And you can see like yellow pieces just fucking flying everywhere. And I was just like, oh, holy fuck, dude. You know how much force you have to put into that to get one of them fucking signs to shatter like that? Like, holy shit. I mean, Omega put some force into it. And I think that's where Jericho got the cut on his back. Because you could see later on in the match that his back was bleeding a little bit. But, holy shit, dude. And that wasn't even the spot of the match. This match had so many different crazy shit. And then Damascus emerges from the icebox and commandeers a fucking golf cart, of all things. And runs and hits Jericho with it. Although it looked like it was just a grazing blow. But then this next part was just like, oh my god. They definitely took some hints from GTA with this next one. So Omega climbs into the passenger seat. They go towards the football field where the Jacksonville Jaguars play. They turn around and start chasing after Sammy. And props to Sammy for this one. He positions himself and basically leaps into the air and covers his face, you know, trying to protect himself, and takes a sick fucking bump went into the windshield of the goddamn golf cart. Like, holy fuck, dude. I mean, Sammy Guevara is fucking nuts. Like, ever since he's been in AEW, he's taken some of the most fucking sick, nasty bumps that I've ever seen. I mean, remember, you know, back before Full Gear, when he... Was it Full Gear or was it Revolution? Actually, I think it was before Revolution. That tag team battle royal. When he leaped into the air and absolutely ate that fucking super kick from Matt Jackson. Y'all remember that one? That was a sick fucking bump. And then he takes another one from fucking, you know, a golf cart in a street fight. And it's just like, Jesus Christ, dude. I mean, you're just fucking nuts, man. And it was at this point that I saw Y2J bleeding out of his back, probably from where he got hit from that fucking slippery when wet sign. Hardy, I think, places Jericho onto like a table. And then Omega climbs up onto this fucking scissor lift that's right next to the table and starts and hits the switch and it starts going up. And I'm thinking, oh, what the fuck is he going to do here? Hager comes in and starts attacking Hardy. Helps get Jericho off of the table. And then Omega looks back and it's like, oh, fuck you guys. And he climbs up on top of the scissors lift and does a fucking moonsault off of it onto Hager, onto Hardy, onto Jericho. Somehow is able to miss the fucking table that's right there. I'm just like, holy fucking shit, dude. I mean, that's just fucking crazy. And then it looks like he's going to hit Jericho with the one-winged angel. But this is where the ending kind of takes away from this match a little bit. Guess who fucking decides to show up? Proud and Powerful, of course. You know, they save Jericho. They attack Hardy and Omega. So, obviously the numbers game comes into play once again. Which, I'm going to be honest, I'm getting kind of fucking sick and tired of it. It's the same old shit. Hager powerbombs Hardy onto the table. Jericho does a powerbomb on top of the, I think, the fucking golf cart or something like that, and then hits the Judas effect. Gets the 3 count for the victory. I mean, one cool thing is that you can see the football field, and you can see like the big like scoreboard, and then it lit up inner circle and shit. But Ortiz starts yelling that the best, the best, the best, and I'm sitting there thinking, dude, shut the fuck up. Like, I'm just gonna be completely honest here. That the best shit from Ortiz is fucking irritating. Okay, I am sick to fucking death of that. Like, holy fuck. I mean, enough with that shit. I mean, it was funny at the beginning, but, you know, you keep doing the same shit over and over again, and it gets old. You know, not to mention that that's fucking irritating. So that was another thing that took away from the end of this match, was Ortiz doing that shit. I mean, that fucking irritated me to no end. You know, that, and, you know, not having, you know, the crowd, an actual crowd to cheer this match on. And, of course, Proud and Powerful, you know, intervening in this match, you know, making it about the numbers game again. Oh, woo, how original. That definitely took away from this match a little bit, but it still doesn't change the fact that this was one damn fine match. And I would honestly recommend going back and watching it, because it was that fucking good. So I gave it 4.5 stars out of 5. Not quite 5, but this was still a damn good main event. So that was how the show ended. And as a result of that, Omega and Hardy basically challenged Proud and Powerful to a match this coming Wednesday night. So that's how all that went down. So my final rating for this show, this is a damn good show. I enjoyed it. That main event was killer. I'm going to give this a 7.5 out of 10. It was a damn good show. But this coming Wednesday, I think we're going to learn a little bit more about the casino ladder match. I am pretty interested in that one, because even though there won't be a live crowd to witness it, that has the potential to be a 5-star match, regardless. Depends on what happens in it, obviously. But that's going to do it for tonight. Thank you very much for watching. 9 matches on Dark tomorrow night. Holy shit. That's gonna be quite the video to put up for them. But here are my updated rankings, and until next time, this is the PackerMan signing out. Take care, everybody.
You better like and subscribe or face the consequences. You have been warned.